The first round of the Otherworld Tournament of Swords is about to be joined. Will Betsy Braddock bring home victory for Krakoa, or will she too fall to the undefeated Isca? Well, let's hop into the pages of Excalibur issue number 14 and find out together, shall we? So then, as the comic opens up, we actually check on in with a character we haven't seen in a little bit. It's Jubilee along with her son Shogo, who is a dragon. Well, in Otherworld, yes, that's right, Teenie Howard has made a rich tapestry for the new Excalibur book, in case you weren't aware. Essentially, Jubilee is waiting in the wings in case her team leader Betsy needs her to come on in as the cavalry or to help the other mutants make a speedy escape, but unfortunately, Jubilee and Captain Brittan aren't able to finish their conversation because the first round of the Tournament of Swords is beginning shortly. Isca the Undefeated, showing that she's actually one of the nicer, more level-headed members of the Sword Bearers of Eriko, comes to Betsy and says that it's still not too late to forfeit this fight. Yes, Krakoa would end up losing a point, but she might not end up losing her life. Betsy Braddock is a proud person, and it would just have to be the case that this fight is being held in Avalon, the exact kingdom wherein her brother Jamie just so happens to be king, so backing out of this fight just wouldn't hurt her and mutant kind, but it would also probably shame her family a bit too. That being said, just because Isca is nice by the standards of the Sword Bearers of Eriko doesn't mean that she's going to show any mercy in this fight, even though her sword is hilariously enough actually called Mercy. Isca only asks that Captain Brittan not embarrass herself out there on the field of battle, and yeah, indeed, we have ourselves our first big sword fight 15 parts into this 22-part series. The mutants of Krakoa serve to be a pretty strong cheering section, and they all hope that Isca the Defeated doesn't actually practice that hard, what with the mutant power to be, undefeated. And indeed, her and Betsy do end up putting on one hell of a show that thrills the crowd, with Captain Brittan ducking and weaving and doing a lot of really fancy footwork. Unfortunately, though, it's Betsy's sword that may very well end up sealing her fate. You'll recall that it was the Starlight sword taken from the Starlight Citadel. And just when Betsy needs it the most, the power just, kinda shuts off to it, almost as if Saturnine, the head priestess of the Starlight Citadel, had something to do with it. Betsy is cut down, however, she doesn't really die in the traditional way. She shatters like a pane of glass, and Saturnine's goons end up picking up all the pieces before anyone can really do anything about it. Round 1 ends up going to the Sword Bearers of Eriko, even though the other mutants like Brian are absolutely incensed, believing that Saturnine cheated. And I mean, she's literally been cheating this whole time. It's all been part of a bigger game to try and hurt the Braddock family. Why do you think she made Betsy go first against a mutant whose power is they're literally undefeated? But hey, if you think that's all a gross abuse of power and perversion of the rules, you ain't seen nothing yet, because Saturnine declares that round 2 will be happening right now, meaning the mutants of Krakoa have no time to mourn their fallen friend. Round 2 sees Cypher, the most unprepared and unbattle-hardened member of the Krakoan party, taking on Bay the Blood Moon Hunter. We actually learned quite a lot more about Bay in this issue. It seems that on top of being an amazing hunter of demonic beasts, she also has her own rather unique language, a doom note as it is called. An incredibly powerful sonic boom that no one can actually quite decipher, not even Cypher himself. In fact, no one can seem to understand what Bay is saying at all, a fact of which Douglas finds kind of enchanting in his own weird way, something that he can't actually read and fully understand. He's transfixed. The next battle is shaping up to be a really weird one too, as Saturnine's silent handmaidens take Doug away and dress him up in finery. Doug assumes that this is all part of some ritual sacrifice, that Bay's gonna hunt him, kill him, and then serve him up for dinner at the next big banquet. To everyone's shock and surprise, though, the next fight isn't a fight at all, but a wedding, and you're probably wondering, wait, where is that in the rules? Well, as Saturnine explains, it's her dimension, her domain, her tournament, and she can change the rules if she damn well wants. And as Apocalypse and Genesis are solid proof of, is there no greater challenge, no greater contest than being married? Cypher is admittedly pretty stoked on the idea that he doesn't have to fight and die just yet, and as a fringe benefit, he might just get himself some otherworldly snoo-snoo along the way. Unfortunately, no one told Jubilee this, and she comes rushing in, objecting to this union and raining dragon fire down on everyone below. The other X-Men rush to try and get her to stop stop. After all, they still might be able to win this tournament if Jubilee doesn't get them disqualified. Saturnine also decides that she really likes Jubilee's dragon son and would love to add him to her collection. It's a good thing too that she can control the very fire within Shogo and make him kneel. Naturally, Jubilee is pretty unhappy with this turn of events and almost getting turned into sidewalk pizza, but Saturnine transversely is very happy. So happy, in fact, she decides to give a point to both Krakoa and Eriko as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Excalibur issue number 14, everybody, and once again, just when you think you got a good handle on what X of Swords is, Hickman and Howard decide to completely flip the script on you. I think this is the issue where Saturnine ultimately reveals herself to what I believed she always was since issue 1, the true villain of this story, playing Krakoa and Eriko against each other for her own sick amusement. In fact, in this issue and the next one, she really starts channeling some Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland, Red Queen, Queen of Hearts madness where she changes the rules on the fly. I can already tell this is going to upset a bunch of fans who have been really looking forward to a bunch of sword fights, but ask yourself, could they really have made 10 different sword fights that different and that interesting? Personally, after 3 dinner issues in a row where it felt like they were really spinning their wheels, I'm just glad to see some forward momentum now to this story. And if you're a fan of Howard and a fan of Excalibur, everything that went down with Captain Brittan is probably going to be really important both in this series and beyond. Overall, I'd give this one an 8 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.